it's just been a rough year being isolated from everyone between COVID and me just being a little more fragile from cancer. And we finally got together this last weekend for Easter. And that's the first time that my immediate family has all been under the same roof at the same time, and it was perfect.
You wear a sock over your hand holding the spoon, and you can only use that to go over to the Easter basket, take a scoop at a time, run back to your partner, and dump the Easter basket grass onto their shower cap that is now covered in shaving cream.
Good. Don't move at all. Don't shake your head or anything. Gordon 1, Connor 2.
All right, it's good for me. I'm taking this thing off.
Hey, can you come up and take this off?
I think we have a clear winner here.
Each team of 2 gets 1 target board and 3 eggs. Objective, very similar to darts, only with a human target throwing an egg that may or may not be hard-boiled.
That's
62 miles per hour right there, blocking it.
Oh, God.
Keep your eyes closed. It's gonna hit right here. Right here. Don't worry about it.
It does have some heat, though.
Oh, man. Don't worry about it.
He has some
ain't got
heat.
nothing to worry about. Don't worry about it.
Shot.
That was good.
That was good getting it with the
It's
board.
really satisfying when you get a good crunch.
One more.
Close your eyes, Mark. You don't see.
Yeah, close
You
your
can
eyes so
see.
you don't see it.
I finished the adriamycin, Cytoxin, which was 4 doses over the course of 8 weeks. They were just bi-weekly treatments. And now I've been on Taxol Carbo. And Taxol Carbo is supposed to be a little less aggressive side effects wise. I get it once a week, every week for 3 weeks, and then I get a week off. The first one, I felt like a total champ. That was the first Wednesday in March. I swam laps the very next day. By Friday, went on a little jog. By Saturday, I was able to hike Piastoa and felt great. Worked out every day after that treatment. Taxol number 2 was not as great. I did a hard workout because I just felt good that morning, and then I was laid out for like 2 days. Saturday and for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday were rough, and it wasn't until about Monday, Tuesday that I started feeling good again. And then I got my 3rd dose, which wasn't as bad as number 2, but not as good as number 1. It took a couple of days to bounce back, but that week off, man, everything went back. Like, it's amazing how the human body can just bounce back. It only needed a week, and I've really felt like myself. And now I have to go back for more today. You caught me at a rough moment. But the last week I've been able to focus better than I have since January, and I got a ton of work done, put in a lot of long hours, long days at work, but I love my job and I feel so good to be caught up on pretty much everything. And I was just able to do normal life and not feel like I'm in a constant fog or sick. So I go in today, next Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday, and then I'll have a week off again and won't have another until the first week of May. My 30th birthday is in May, So we'll continue with this regimen for 15 weeks total, 12 doses altogether, and I'll be done by June 16th. So, approximately 13 weeks ago, I sat in this same spot with this same sparkly filter and thanked everyone for their outpouring of support. And I had just told everyone that I had breast cancer. It hadn't even been staged yet, and I still had my hair. And I don't know, it just felt right to get on here and say that all of your messages, the outpouring of support is not lost on me. I'm not always the best at responding, and honestly, I can only answer the question, how you're doing, like how are you doing, so many times in a day, because I'm not great. But we're here, and we're gonna get through this. So all of that to say, thank you for everything, for loving us through this season. Please don't take it personally if I don't respond or I don't elaborate on how I'm doing, because it would simply be a full-time job if I did, truly. And that in itself is a blessing, that I have so much support that I can't even connect with each person. That is a blessing. So thank you for being a part of that. I will give another update soon on how the plan of care is rolling out. I did meet with the radiation oncologist this past week, and yeah, a lot to get you all caught up on. But for now, I need rest. So I hope you had a good day, and I will talk to you very soon. I love you guys. That was cute.
Morning. Tell me what you're doing today.
Kaya and I are going to La Jolla today.
It looks like a good day for it.
I just have to get it together because I have to drive. Kaya's car doesn't have AC right now, and I drive a stick. Kaya can't drive a stick, so I gotta get us there. On day 3 post-chemo, what will you do to go to the beach?
So this isn't my favorite look, but we're gonna go with this. I feel like I need to speak to this topic because it's one of many that no one talks about when you think of a cancer patient and the whole experience, and that is medical bills. I've spent the last hour of my Saturday morning going through explanation of benefits from my insurance and comparing those to the charges that I'm receiving on statements from the cancer center. Now, the cancer center bills separately from the providers that practice at the cancer center, so trying to make sense of all the dates of service and charges it's already kind of a nightmare. But what you run into more times than not is when you are paying your bills, you get these statements, you pay it, those payments aren't always applied to the right dates of service, so then you get a statement for the same date of service you already paid for. But now these statements that you shouldn't even be receiving in the first place also say past due, overdue, they're sending you to collections, whatever things they can scare you with. So I've worked in healthcare a long time and I can make sense of all this stuff. I can call their bluff. I'm literally on the phone with their billing department every 2 weeks trying to resolve these issues, and it's a nightmare. But most patients that are going through this treatment, they haven't worked in healthcare. They don't know how this stuff works, and it's way too freaking confusing. And honestly, in my opinion, I think it's by design. It is by design that this is so complicated. They just send you a bill and they're like, just pay it. Just pay it. But you know, if you overpay or they mess up, they make a mistake and you get overcharged, they're not going to hit you up with a statement and say, hey, you overpaid, so here's your money back where, we screwed up. We're gonna go ahead and give you this money back. It doesn't work that way. All of this to say that healthcare in America is broken. It should not be this way. You should not have to advocate so hard for yourself. And that's what it all boils down to, is that the patient really has to advocate for themselves, whether you are 29 and you have a strong family history of breast cancer and they don't want you to have a mammogram because you don't meet the criteria of their protocol, or if you just want to make sure that your hard-earned dollars are not paid towards something that you don't even owe. It does not, none of it stops with cancer. Like, it is just, it's a nightmare. And it should not be this way.
Whew. Okay, felt good, and it's, I don't know what time it is, but I know that was longer than I was planning, and now I'm late to chemo. Sorry I'm late, didn't want to come.
It's May 11th. It's day 6 after chemo 11 of 16. And we are headed to see Dr. Peter Wu, who is my plastic surgeon, to discuss reconstruction options.
There are sort of benefits to doing it either way, whether you go directly to an implant first or whether you have expanders first. I would say by and large, most reconstruction with implants is done with an expander first.
Yeah.
There aren't that many women who are candidates for directed implant reconstruction.
I think we've briefly touched on just that, like, the symmetry can change with radiation, right?
Yeah, the radiated side typically has changes you don't see on the non-radiated side. Things like the skin tightening up a little bit, becoming a little bit firmer. The radiated side sometimes rides just a little bit higher just because the skin tightens a little bit.
Yeah.
I do have to tell you that being as young as you are, there is a slight advantage to having flaps. In the sense that implants don't last forever, right? They're man-made devices, just like a Tesla, just like an iPhone, just like any man-made product out there. It, at some point, will require replacement. Sometimes it can last 10 years. Sometimes it can last 20 years. Sometimes it lasts much shorter, 5 years maybe. Both are fine options as long as you understand the differences between the two and what you're signing up for.
I think I am set on wanting the implants.
Sure.
But because we spent so much time in our last appointment talking about the flap, I don't know a whole lot about implants of what they are.
We can talk about that. So you have your expander placement. You can do expansions after surgery up until you start radiation, and that can be about 4 to 6 weeks. I don't think you're gonna need a whole ton of expansion if you're not looking to be, a cup or two sizes larger. And then you got to get through radiation. So depending on the type of radiation, maybe another 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then after that, you're gonna have a period of healing from the radiation before you can have the implant exchange, which is probably gonna be another 3 months. So all in all, we're talking about 6 months maybe from the mastectomy, the expanders. Oftentimes at that time, we also do what's called fat grafting, where we take a little bit of your own fat, process it, and inject it back into you around the implants or on the breast to help improve the contour, help improve symmetry. And that surgery lasts maybe a couple of hours, go home the same day. Recovery is much easier, nothing like the first one. Now, in someone who doesn't have as well of a defined crease,
Like me.
yours is a little bit more sloped right here, like that, right?
Yeah.
So that incision will not be well hidden. That'll be pretty visible. In your case, it may be smarter to do what's called a radial incision, right adjacent to the nipple. Number one, it gives you access to the breast in a much shorter distance than if you try to get to the top from the bottom. Number two, it is slightly more visible up front, but I think the trade-off is it's shorter than one that's like this. And then we can go in and we can place your implant right in there, through either incision, secure it either under the muscle or above the muscle. We can talk about that. Through either approach. But I think because of your anatomy, because of what I think the visibility of the scar will be, for you, I would prefer a shorter incision here than a long incision here.
Sure. Yeah, I was kind of expecting that.
Okay.
As far as over or under the muscle, I thought that I only had the option to go under the muscle. So what are the...
So you have theoretically both options. I say theoretically because sometimes there are things that happen at the time of surgery that force us to choose one versus the other.
Sure.
My preference is to go over the muscle when possible. It's just a little less painful. But in certain women, it is smarter to go under the muscle. And I think even if someone were to need radiation, I think it's smart to go under the muscle. If someone has really thin skin as well, it's better to go under the muscle. The trade-off is, number one, you have to release the muscle from the chest. You have to lift the muscle off the chest to put the implant under it.
Right.
And that can be uncomfortable. You can have pain, you can have muscle spasms.
Is that also what creates more opportunity for things to get shifty in there for?
So there is something, it's called animation deformity, which is something that it can happen when implants are over the muscle, but they're much more common if they're under the muscle, where every time you flex that muscle, the implant moves.
Yeah.
And
that makes me squeamish.
So it doesn't hurt. It's not something that's painful.
Yeah.
I don't think you don't have to worry about that. But I think in someone who's thin like yourself, who's going to have radiation, it does make some sense to put it under the muscle. Definitely. It just gives you another layer of protection between the implant and the outside world.
Yeah. And even on the day after chemo, the first 2 days are usually my hardest. And if I can just get out and even just hike and get a little bit of climbing in, get my heart rate up, it really does curb the nausea. That's a little bit. So really good. Trying to do it. Trying to do the thing. How early is too early to go paddleboarding? I don't think there's such thing.
Early in the morning, before the sun appears, before the world has even stirred, let's get out of here. Let's get lost together. Let's go chase that postcard. Wish you were here, weather. Let's get lost together. 'Cause if we don't, I know that I won't even last another year.
Just can't beat it.
I know that this is very close to my face, but I need you to look at these eyebrows. Look at the stubble. She's really trying to make it come back. Please come back. Oh my God.
When that sleep won't come and you've cried your sum, let it come to you. There's nothing you can do until I see you smile just below those eyes that tell me you're okay. It's written on your face. As you come to light, I come alive. Your silhouette in the summer sky. But this is only a measure. It can only get better. It can only get better. And this is only a measure. It can only get better. It can only get better.
Good morning. Today is chemo number 13 of 16, but I had to get out here first. Also had to wear my new hat that I just got in the mail yesterday for Ribs. I've never actually met Ribs or his wife, but I have been following their entire experience with this cancer thing for a long time, even well before my cancer journey started. And some days when my body's tired, but I know I have it in me, but I have to fight myself to get out of bed and get out here early enough before my day starts. I think of Ribs because if he could, he would absolutely be out here and he'd be kicking all of our asses. Like, I just started working with a coach because I want to run my first ultra when I turn 31. Despite cancer, despite everything that tells me that that's an ambitious goal. And yeah, if you needed a reason to get out of bed and do something today, let it be Ribs. Let it be, because it's a privilege that your body will move you across trails and over mountains. Just do it. It's worth it. Have a good day. This guy's killing it.